Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So repeat the shloka after me. Yunjan evam satatmanam yogi yatamanasa shanti nirvana paramam matsam tam adhigacchati. Okay, word for word translation. Yunjan, practicing. Eva, as mentioned above. Sada, constantly. Atmana, body, mind and soul. Yogi, the mystic transcendentalist. Niyatamanasa, with a regulated mind. Santi, peace. Nirvana Parama, cessation of material existence. Mas Substanam, the spiritual sky, the kingdom of God. Adhigacchati, does attain. So, please listen to the translation by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind and activities, the mystic transcendentalist is mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. Please repeat after me. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind and activities, the mystic transcendentalist is mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. We'll read the purport now. The ultimate goal in practicing yoga is now clearly explained. Yoga practice is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. It is to enable the cessation of all material existence. One who seeks an improvement in health or aspires after material perfection is no yogi, according to Bhagavad Gita. Nor does cessation of material existence entails one entering into the void, which is only a myth. There is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. Rather, the cessation of material existence enables one to enter into the spiritual sky, the abode of the Lord. The abode of the Lord is also clearly described in the Bhagavad Gita as that place where there is no need of sun, moon or electricity. All the planets in the spiritual kingdom are self-illuminated like the sun in the material sky. The kingdom of God is everywhere. The spiritual sky and the planets thereof are called Paramdham or superior abodes. A consummate yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as is clearly stated herein by the Lord himself, Mat Chitta, Mat Parama, Mat Sthanam, can attain real peace and can ultimately reach the supreme abode, Krishna Loka, known as Goloka Vrindavan. In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated, Goloka eva nivasanti akila atma dukkara. The Lord, although residing always in his abode, called Goloka, he is the all-pervading Brahman and the localized Paramatma as well, by dint of his superior spiritual energies. No one can reach the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha, or enter into the Lord's eternal abode, Golok Vrindavan, without the proper understanding of Krishna and his plenary expansions Vishnu. Therefore, a person working in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi, because his mind is always absorbed in Krishna's activities. Savai Mana Krishna Padana Vindaya. In the Vedas also, we learn Tam Eva Vidityati Mrityu Iti. One can overcome the path of birth and death only by understanding the Supreme Personality of God and Krishna. In other words, perfection of the yoga system is the attainment of freedom from material existence and not some magical jugglery or gymnastic feats to befool innocent people. Om Ajnana Grandasya Shalakaya Chakshurupilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Hey Krishna Gurna Sindhu Dina Bandha Jaganpate Gopeshna Gopikakanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaura Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shriman Sutadevi Pranami Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Sadguru Govinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. Okay, so in this text, it's formed part of a 5-text batch in this chapter, where Bhagavan starts by saying what is yoga practice, and he will end in this shloka what is yoga perfection. Here Prabhupada says the ultimate goal in practicing yoga is now clearly explained. So this text clearly explains what is the ultimate goal. So the ultimate goal is to understand who Krishna is. Yoga practice is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. So many times we see that people are doing yoga asana, or doing pranayam, or doing any of the sorts of ashtanga yoga for material benefit, for bodily benefit, so that they can have a better body. And better body to do what? They want to do it for sense gratification, by doing more and more sense gratification. So that is not the aim of yoga practice. It's like they're just taking one limb of the Ashtanga Yoga and taking that to be all in all. So don't need to paralyze Ashtanga Yoga by treating it as an Ekam Yoga. Just taking one part of the yoga and using it to increase your bodily vitality to do sense gratification. So Prabhupada says that that is not the goal. The goal here is to be able to reach to Krishna, and by doing so, you're going to have cessation of all your material existence. Okay. So in this verse it says, by constant control of the body. So constant control of the body, mind and activities. And how are you going to control the body? We had already discussed this before, that you can control the body by giving it in Krishna's service. Like Prabhupada has already outlined a really easy way to control our body and control our senses. When we enter any Iskcon temple and we perform or we attend any of the artis, you are using your eyes, you're using your feet, you're using your hands, you're using your nose, you're using your taste buds. Everything in Krishna consciousness is using every sense of yours and dovetailing it to Krishna's service. So that way you can control your body and you control your mind. And this is already been explained earlier in this chapter, that we can control the mind. And a controlled mind is the best friend of a yogi, or it can be the worst enemy. And we can also control our activities. So when we have a constant control of your body, mind and activities, then by gradual cessation of material desires and material existence, we will obtain the kingdom of God. So many people say that when this body dies, there is nothing in store for us. So they think it's all void, but there's nothing known as voidism. Prabhupada clearly states here that voidism only exists in the mind of the person who thinks it's void. But there is no way in this material universe which is empty, because the whole material universe is full of these five Panchatattva elements: earth, fire, air, water, ether. Anywhere in this world, you will have at least one of these elements there. So therefore, there is no part of the universe which is void. So, just going to recap from number 10 to number 15 so that we can see this whole patch in one way. So what does Krishna says in 6.10? So in 6.10, Krishna explains about a yogi or what a transcendentalist is. And a yogi and a transcendentalist is anyone who is already part of a yoga ladder. And this could be at any level. It could be at the impersonal level, at the meditator level, or it could be at the bhakti or the devotee level. So no matter which one they are part of, they are already part of a ladder. Gradually, the ladder will take you up to the bhakti yogi stage. But even a person who is not favorable to bhakti, he can at least start from an impersonal level, or he will start from a meditation level. So Krishna doesn't say that, oh, just because you are not into bhakti yoga, that all the other paths that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita are not applicable. They are all applicable because they are all indirectly Krishna conscious. Because even if you take any of these paths, you are going to end up into bhakti yoga. That is the conclusion. So in 6.10, the four main points that were discussed were: you have to always engage your body, mind and self in relationship with the Supreme. So for example, how can you always engage your mind? Like Krishna says that always remember me. Arjuna, remember me and fight. How does that happen? It's not like Arjuna was on the battlefield and every time he was going to draw an arrow, he says Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. He's not always chanting and doing this and fighting. Even if you think about it, if you are supposed to go for a surgery and the doctor is a devotee, now would you want the doctor to do his chanting while he's doing the surgery? Or do you want him to put his full attention into doing the surgery? You would want his full attention to doing the surgery. You don't want the doctor to stand out chanting while he's doing the surgery. So that's not what Krishna is trying to say. That when you say always remember me and do your activities, it doesn't mean that constantly you're always chanting and all that. What it means is that he's always at the back of your mind. Just like how a parent will go to a toy store or he's going to the supermarket and he sees that, oh, there is this toy, my son or my daughter would like it. So the son or daughter is not there, but at the back of the mind, he can think just by looking at a toy that, oh, my son or my daughter will like it. So he will get the toy. He will get the toy for the child. But the child is nowhere in the picture yet. It's just that The child is always in the back of the parent's mind. So that is how we have to have a relationship with Krishna. We might not be able to see him, we might not be able to experience him, but at the back of our mind, every single thing that we do has to be somehow related or connected to having feelings to Krishna. If you're going for, say, shopping, for getting fruits and vegetables for your family, then at the back of the mind you will think that, oh, I'm getting this fruits and vegetables so that I'll be able to cook a nice prasada for the Lord, and then once the Lord has had it, then my family members can have it. So by just changing this consciousness, that you're changing the center of consciousness from your family to the Lord, thereby you're purifying this entire atmosphere. Second point was that you have to live alone in a secluded place. And why do you have to live alone in a secluded place? Because you have to avoid the disturbances with external objects. Sometimes we see that our mind is very, very undisturbed, very disturbed, and any external object will already have temptation attack on our mind. But by living in a secluded place, you're minimizing the amount of external objects which can attack on your mind. But a devotee doesn't really mind it, because a devotee by nature will only accept anything that's favorable and will reject everything that is unfavorable for his spiritual practices. So that way, a devotee is not really concerned about an external object, because he will only look at all external objects based on if this is going to help me advance in my spirituality. So that way, a devotee is already higher or already come over the temptations than any external object provides, because he will only look at it in terms of connection to his and Krishna's service. Third is control his mind, because it is with the help of the mind that one can think and have feelings for Krishna. We need our mind to function in this world. And even when Arjuna says that I cannot control my mind, but Krishna says you must control your mind. And it can be done, even though it seems impossible, it can be done, because it is with this mind that we can actually function and have relationship in this world. Whereas we discussed last time that the soul is a root of consciousness, but the mind is a root of consciousness. Wherever you put your mind, that is where your consciousness will go to. So if you put your mind into material things, naturally your consciousness will be clouded by materialism. But if you put your mind into spiritual activities, then naturally your consciousness will also get purified and become more spiritual. And the fourth thing was that you have to be free from material desires and feelings of possessiveness. So like as I said before, Krishna conscious persons, they know that everything belongs to Krishna, and thus he is always free from feelings of personal possessions. So for example, there was this reporter during Srila Prabhupada's time, and Prabhupada was having a lot of big temples, and he already constructed many big temples. And this reporter was quite challenging. He's like, Prabhupada, where do you get the money? Where do you get the money to build this? And then Prabhupada says, Krishna. So this reporter thought that maybe he did not hear my question right. Okay, you say Krishna, but how did you actually manage to make this? Like, how did you get the money? And Prabhupada again looks at it very gravely, like, Krishna. And then again he asked for a third time, Prabhupada, yes, you need money. You need money to create this. Where did you get this money from? And Prabhupada again says, Krishna. And then the reporter said, okay, I think this is done. Then he turned to the assistant of Prabhupada, and he asked him, so where does he get the money from? Where does he get the money from? He's like, and then the disciple looks to Prabhupada, And it's like, and if he looks at the reporter like, Krishna. So, trying to say is that Krishna is a provider of everything in this world. So naturally, everything belongs to Krishna. And if he wants, he can give everything to somebody, and somebody who's got everything, he can take everything away. So, so this reporter understood that this Krishna must be some powerful person. So, these four things, that always engaging your body, mind and self in relationship with the Supreme, living alone in a secluded place, controlling his mind, and is free from material desires and feelings of possessiveness. All of these four things are there in a devotee. And because they are a devotee, he is considered the topmost yogi or the topmost transcendentalist. Now in the next two verses, in 6:11 and 6:12, I just want to pick up on one point, is that it says Suchau Deshem. Suchau means sanctified, and Deshem means place. So Suchau Deshem means a sanctified place. And sanctified places are like the places of pilgrimage that one should try to make the chance to go. Like Mathura, Vrindavan, Prayag, Rishikesh, Haridwar. These are all sanctified places because these are places that have got strong vibrations of the Lord being there, and Lord doing his pastimes there. So one should try to make a place to go to this sanctified places of pilgrimage to be able to boost their spiritual practices. And then the process that has been delineated in these two shlokas is quite impractical in this day and age. Like, we can go to a sanctified place, but it is not a secluded place, because now there's so many people who are there. So how do you actually manage to focus your mind on Krishna in a secluded place as well? So what the scriptures such as Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu say is that the process or the yoga process for this day and age is a congregational chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is the yoga practice that has been actually suggested for this day and age. Now in the 13 and 14 text, it says that one should have an unagitated and subdued mind, and he should be devoid of fear and completely free of sex life. So why is all this being given? So first of all, it has to be completely free from sex life because in this material realm, the highest pleasure is considered to be sexual pleasure. But at that level, your mind is still hovering in the physical consciousness. You are hovering on the material or physical consciousness. But in the yoga process, you have to rise above it. So by completely being free from sex life, you'll be able to elevate your consciousness from a physical level to a higher level. Now, Prabhupada also explains that Bhakti Yoga is very, very powerful, that it also admits householder brahmacharis. Now, what does a householder brahmachari mean? Because you think householder means grahastha. So grahastha is a stage or a family stage more than a brahmachari. But a householder brahmachari means that a person has only one wife and has sexual activities in accordance with the scriptures. If they can do this much, then they are considered to still be a brahmachari in the grahastha ashram. And Prabhupada says that it is only in the bhakti schools that they actually accept householder brahmacharis. And why is that? is because Bhakti Yoga is very, 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 very powerful. It is the only yoga system in which it gives a pleasure higher than the sexual pleasure that people experience in this world. And naturally, when somebody has got the taste for a higher taste, then automatically the lower taste will keep on fading away. So that is why Bhakti is very, very powerful, in that it is the only yoga system which offers something that is of a transcendental level of happiness. So coming back to this last shloka, this shloka for today. So Krishna is saying that by constant control of the body, mind and activities, and having the mind regulated, one will eventually be able to reach the kingdom of God. And by reaching the kingdom of God, you are going to have a cessation of material existence. Here in the shloka it says, Shanti Nirvana Parama. Nirvana, many people think Nirvana means nothing, means just leaving everything behind. But that's not the case. It's Nirvana Paramam. So Nirvana is there. It is the removing of the material existence. But just because you have removed the material existence does not mean that you have removed the spiritual existence. You have now removed the material covering and now moved into a spiritual reality, which is the actual reality. So it says that Ma Samsthan Adhikachati. They say that the spiritual kingdom or spiritual sky is what he will attain. So by cessation of material existence, you are going to attain the spiritual sky. And Prabhupada explains that why, it gives a bit of an explanation of what the spiritual sky looks like, just to tempt us to understand the power or the purity of the spiritual world. He compares that in the spiritual world it is self-illuminating. It does not require external sources of energy to light up the world. It is self-illuminating. So there's one example that we can use to understand the difference between an impersonalist, a voidist, and a personalist or a devotee. So there was this one father who had a son, and the son had got cataract. You know cataract? So the father was very concerned, like, how do I treat this cataract? And the boy was in pain because he could not see. He could not see because of the cataract. So one uncle had passed by and he said that, oh, this child has got cataract. It's better to plug the eyes out. And then the father like, what are you talking about? And then the second uncle came. And the second uncle said, oh, the child is suffering. Best to just kill him. Then all the suffering is ended. And then like the father was even more shocked when he listened to the second uncle. Then the third uncle came. He's like, okay, I see that this child has got cataract. We will treat the cataract and let the eye heal by itself. So which of these three? These three basically represent the impersonalist view, the voidist view, and the devotee view. The impersonalist basically thinks that because I am attracted to everything and everything is a cause of misery, it's best not to get attracted to it, to just refrain or just to remove it. So that is like plucking the eye out. The voidism says that, oh, it's just material existence is causing suffering. So it's best to remove material existence, meaning to kill the void. But a personalist or a devotee will look at it and say that, oh, he's only suffering because he is not yet God conscious. So by becoming God conscious, it's like treating the cataract, but then also retaining the life of the child. So you're still staying alive, but you're just changing of consciousness from a godless consciousness to a consciousness full of surrounding God. So in that way, we can understand that we have to become God conscious. It does not mean that we have to leave everything around, because the topmost yogi will use everything around him and use it for Krishna service, because for him God is at the center. So with this, we are going to end here. If anyone has got any questions, then we can. Otherwise, Hare Krishna, Hare